I thought people needed lessons and the public needed lessons on how to use it because
Yeah.
people ended their vote before, it went, anyway, but I thought Florida went backwards.
Okay. Well, as I say, Jersey's a blood sport in politics. We all know that. But all right. I'm sorry, Betsy. Go ahead. You had something.
Okay. Here we are. Let's see. It was good. It gave time for more people to come in. Morning, Andy. Where's Renee this morning?
It's coming.
It's coming. All right. So the topic of today is about scams and hackers and all of that fun stuff that we're going to immerse in. And I just wanted to note, Medina is not going to be here. She's on her way to Boone. So I'll be having lunch with her sometime this summer. And Medina will appreciate this. I am actually up an hour earlier because I'm in Central Time right now. So,
oh, thank you.
This is how much I love you guys because I don't love morning.
Are you in New Orleans?
I am in Hammond, which is an hour north of New Orleans. Yeah.
We have a friend who won a chili tasting contest in Hamilton. A chili,
in Hammond?
Chili. Yeah. There's a lot of them. Like, it's a season, like a fair around Louisiana.
They live here?
Yes.
Well, why are they not in class?
Betsy, I want to tell you, I've had some medical things and some other things, and everything fell on Wednesday. So I have missed this class, just letting you know.
You have been missed.
I have missed the class, and so I'm glad to be here. So just letting you know.
Now, you're trading out with Teresa, who's not here today.
I hadn't seen her either in a month, probably.
I'm like, yeah. Are you guys not related?
We are. I saw her yesterday at the hospital, so that's not good. But we did see each other. No, everything's, we're all moving good. So
okay, good. Yeah. Good. All right, so we are going to get right into it. I have a lot of information about scams loaded up. It is not all from Malwarebytes, so Linda and Joyce won't be entirely bored because they already get that newsletter. But sometimes I think maybe, it's overwhelming. Malwarebytes comes and it gives you a whole bunch of stuff and you're like, not today. Just sometimes, I don't know about everybody else, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't do that today. I'm pretty protected, so I'm going to ignore it. So let's start with, there was one. Okay. Let me pull it back up. I thought this was very interesting, and I know you can't see it yet. I'm going to pull up the right one because I have so many. This one is about voice scams. So it is getting harder and harder. AI is getting better and better. And how do we know when someone calls? We're in this room, I think, very good at identifying when it comes through an email. We're just good. We're practiced. We know what the signs are. We know what the warning signals about the urgency and all of that. But now, and we had played that game before with, and I haven't found a resource for it yet, but we will, where we've looked at, is this video AI? Is this picture AI? And trying to figure it out. Well, now AI voice is getting even better. And I don't know if anyone has called where you've been on hold and then the prompt is far less robotic, far more like, well, I know this isn't a real person, but boy, isn't this good, And so there are some things to think about when you get a call. And I know that we don't answer calls that we don't know who they are, but sometimes what if you call them and this is what you get? So this is what we're going to look at. And let me pull up the tab. How to tell human voices from AI. So the nice thing is, the good news is that it's actually our humanity that will protect us. Human voices have so much difference. And if you just remember this very first paragraph here, how complex our voices are: pitch, range, tone, rhythm, emotions, because they still can't copy that yet with AI, and imperfections, which I didn't think about, pauses, breaths, variations in pronunciation.
Hmm.
I have a word that I would like to ask you all about, and it is a flower that is quite beautiful and blooms with big, big globular blooms. And it's sort of an old fashioned flower, and it is spelled Peony. How do you pronounce it?
O-M, not N?
Peony.
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 Okay.
Peony, right.
Peony. Peony.
I feel
How do you
much
say it?
better. Here in New Orleans or Louisiana, they call it peony.
Oh,
Peony. And I was like, because that was the flower my daughter wanted for her wedding. And so I started calling florists, and they
That's
said,
funny.
"Oh no, peonies are not in season right now." I'm like, "What's not?" Peony. So it's very hard. So talking about nuances, there are tomato, when you go to far New England, you expect to hear them say "ka," instead of "car," and those kind of nuances in the South, where Georgia, North Carolina, you're going to get y'alls and a long drawn out vowel. But peony, didn't know. Anyway, going back to talking about the AI, if you understand that if you get something that just is too perfect, then probably not going to be human. They're polished and lack natural variations. Human voices can effortlessly adapt to context. So if you are in a conversation with something that you think might be AI, they're going to not be able to change the tone of the conversation. So, we speak formally during presentations, casually with friends. AI can't adapt and are not context aware. I'm going to bet too that telling a joke, human voices, we know wordplay, humor, and storytelling. We know metaphors, analogies, things like that. They can't. And I said they like it was a person. And then, of course, characteristics of AI generated is that it's mimicking. So you're going to get very consistent tone and delivery, lack of nuance, pronunciation, unnatural cadences, artificial patterns, more monotone. Now, I have found with the AI voices I've heard, they are not monotone. They are much, much better at sounding like it's got a little bit of that up and down. But it says, so there are a couple of technologies that specifically are used to generate Tacotron 2 and Parallel WaveNut, human-like features, realistic, natural sounding waveforms. So that might have been what I was listening to because I'm a Google person. But also, processing. So listen for variations, emotional range, pronunciation, waveform, emotional context. So I'm going to say that if you tell it a joke, it's not going to get the joke. And you're going to understand that you're not real and treat it as such.
Yeah.
Joyce.
The other day I had to contact AT&T because I wanted to put my television on vacation hold, and the AI was very helpful, but needed to transfer me, and I was, needed to transfer me to a human because and the AI was so much more understandable. The human accent was probably from the Philippines, And, and I instantly knew, yes, this is a person.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's a perfect example of when we call them, that thank you for that, because, we worry about the scams coming at us, but there are times when we're going to be interacting with AI and understanding it's just good information to know, oh, this is a human being, this is not a human being. And so far, AI and the robots still can't do everything we can do.
Including, speaking an accent that's difficult to understand.
Exactly, exactly. So, great example. Now I want to bump into passkeys. We talked about passkeys the other day, and they're complicated. And I've read a couple of articles. This one seemed to be the best one at explaining it. So we're not going to go into it a whole lot. But I'm going to send this to you so you have it. But the link that went with this, I thought was more interesting. So we're going to go to passkeys and share my screen. Let me go back up to the top and share. So the bad news is passkeys are the new passwords and you should start using them now. That's the bad news. The good news is that you can't use them everywhere. And the good news is that they're not, they're just not available. And so you don't have to start using them yet. But I want to remind everybody back when we really hardly used passwords at all, or we all used the same password on every single account that we had. So I'm going to, this one, this particular article is kind of nice because this is sort of a chronology of what's been happening. 15 years that all of this has been going on. So that's a good marker. More and more passwords became necessary. We recycled the passwords. Then came password managers, services and software where we could store our complex passwords. Then came two-factor authentication, which is actually where I think we are now. I think that's really the most important thing that you can do. And then it explains that passkeys are different. And all of that verbiage was about why those things became passe. And passkeys are not perfect, but here's a great explanation of exactly what it is. And they use an analogy of who I don't know this book, but Tamora Pierce's fantasy novel First Test. The knight has to unlock her room with a physical key that only works when she speaks a magic word. And so that's kind of what a passkey is like. It works on only one door, can't be duplicated, only works when the owner allows it to with a magic word. So analogy, totally an analogy, but it's a good analogy. So when you have a passkey, your device, instead of prompting you to type in your password, automatically finds your passkey and asks your permission to use it. You then authenticate it with a PIN. So remember, PINs are so much shorter, 4 numbers, 6 numbers. That's about it. Facial recognition or a fingerprint, and then only then does it log into your account. So it's like a super long password. You can't copy and paste. They can't be forgotten because you're not using them. You are simply giving permission for it to use. They're bound to specific websites. So it goes into all of this about what passkeys are. What I thought was most useful about this was, first of all, it also said you can store your passkeys in password managers, which then goes on to talk about the best password manager. Now, I am going to stop here for a second and talk about what they're saying here. With the password managers, hey, Nancy, with the password managers that they are promoting, I have, how many people use a password manager that is not Apple Keychain, and not Google. Does anyone use a different system? Okay. Andy, what do you use?
Norton.
Norton Password Manager.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know they had one. Awesome.
They
Are you
have-
happy?
It's all right. It works good, but sometimes it doesn't pick up when you have a new one. And other times it'll pick it up, like when you're putting in a new password in, and sometimes it doesn't recognize it, and so I have to do it manually. And then the next time I log in, it'll pick it up and
Okay.
ask to save it.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I didn't know Norton had one. So my experience in teaching people hands-on, so not this class, but people who have asked me for tech help, 99% of the time, they use an external password manager like the ones we're going to look at right now. They have no idea how they work. They don't use them all the time. And they can almost never get into the website they're trying to get into because they don't know how it works and they haven't done it correctly. So I'm just going to hazard a guess and say that external password managers tend to have a bit of a learning curve. So that being said, now we're going to look at some. And historically, some of them have been hacked, where, you know, the bad actors got into the password manager company and hacked. All they did, as far as I know, I don't know how many times they've been hacked, but they got into the employee passwords, which is super embarrassing. It's like, okay, hi, I work for, let's just say, LastPass, and my job is tech security, and my work data got compromised. You know, I mean, it's kind of like, maybe you shouldn't do that for work. I don't know. But let's go ahead and we're going to look at the ones that are available and pull it back up. So these are recommendations
For you.
of what is the best. And it says why they think these are the best, and they do test them out. So this particular one likes 1Password, paid, not free, but paid. And again, I'll go with, I'm okay with that. It's $29 a year because you get what you pay for. So I would assume that this one would be easy to use and worth the money spent. Budget Pick, best free one, that Bitwarden. So, and then it talks about going into the security keys and talking, and that's the one that I bought. There are premium features from these and tells you how to use a security key, and it goes all through it using Amazon as a particular one. And then here's the thing. Passkeys, and this is the good news for everybody today, are still in the early adoption phase. And so not all sites use them. And so they're intended to be more convenient, but they're not entirely the case at the moment. Some sites don't require two-factor authentication. Some do. Some let you create a passkey for your account. It's tricky to remember where that you've created the passkey because you can't remember which one is which. So in my mind, this is the good news, is that we're not there yet. It says use passkeys where you can. And it goes on. We're only halfway through the article, and it's not necessary for me to read this to you. But that's my favorite part. Hey, Terry, who joined you?
Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie. So yay that we don't have to switch everything yet. And so that's a good thing. But the reason why I thought about, okay, we don't need this information yet, but I want you all to read that article so that you understand what's coming and get a little bit better idea of what it is. Even if you don't intend to use it and you don't have to use it for 5 years, the more we start learning about it now, the less complicated it's going to be later on. Because what they're saying is it's all going to be that way, that we're going to pass keys entirely. So it's like, oh, for heaven's sakes, I finally started using, really good, strong passwords. Then I started using a password manager, and we have to keep adapting to the technology. That's what keeps us young, people. It is using our brain in different ways keeps us young and keeps all of those neurons firing in a way that, sometimes some days, yeah, I get grumpy about it and I'm like, I don't want to do another thing. But it's okay because it's available to us to kind of ease into it rather than going all in. So what I thought was interesting, there's a link in that article, and I'm going to share this with you, is that as it said, not all companies use it. So if not all companies use it, who does? And here's the passkey directory. So there are only 161 companies that do. And here they are. So these are the ones that allow you to use passkey and use passkey. And so, okay, good to know. So if I don't have any of these companies, then I really don't have to worry about it for now, right? Because these are the only ones you can use passkeys for.
You have Amazon?
Amazon, yeah. Amazon does. Yeah. And this is alphabetical, so you can just kind of scroll through and go, okay, I use that, I don't use that. I use that, I don't use that. So, a lot of big companies, and this is, low doll. We only get to I in this list. So, but there's kind of our easy out for now. We can kind of put learning all about passkeys on a little bit of a hold, but I from what I'm reading everywhere else besides this article, they are coming. It is happening because it's stronger. It's better security and protects us better. So we can dip our toe in, we can learn about it a little bit. The more we hear about it, the less it's going to be difficult when we actually have to use it. If we think about the cloud, okay, there was a time when the cloud was like, what are they talking about? What is the cloud? And now we use the cloud seamlessly. We might not, Linda's grinning, might not 100% understand what's going on here, but we do use it. And it has not been a choice pretty much. I mean, if you, for instance, talking about the cloud, if you decide you're never using the cloud for your photos, because that's where we tend to use it a lot. And we go, okay, I'm just going to keep it all on my device. Your devices are going to fill up quick with all of your pictures. So we kind of like, okay, I have to use the cloud. Same thing with this. There's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to use it. So why not, start hearing about it, start learning about it, and get more comfortable with it sooner rather than later. And we don't have to right now. So that's the really good news, in my opinion. Any comments, thoughts about passkeys? Linda.
I had an experience this week. It might have been Amazon, but I'm really not sure. I was trying to sign on to some account and they wanted a passkey. But I checked my records. I didn't have one. And I'm looking all over the screen. There was no place to put a passkey. And eventually they put them through anyway. So maybe they were just building it. And I don't know. They don't have it perfected yet.
So I found there was a couple of times that happened with me, Linda, and the passkey that they wanted, because I was on my computer, and when I open my computer, I use a 4-digit PIN to get it to unlock my computer. That was my passkey.
Ah.
I didn't know that. and I think it was Microsoft, and this is a Microsoft device. So even though everything else I use is Google, because it's device specific, it wanted the PIN to verify who I was. And so I'm like, well, I only know one PIN, so I'm going to go with this, and one PIN for this device. I actually have different PINs for different devices, even though I'm Google across the board. And so sometimes my husband gets confused because he's like, what's the PIN on this one? Because he's trying to get in. He uses the same one for everything. I'll let you know when he regrets that day. But try that and see if that, because I was like, oh, well, that was simple. And it's because it was Microsoft device. Microsoft wanted me to get in, asked me for my pass key. I'm like, okay. And so I did that, and that's what happened. So might be that easy. If it's that easy, we will all be like, hallelujah, that's all I have to do. Great, yay. And that little keychain thing that I got for passkey, the number one reason why I have not used that yet as a passkey, because I got that particular one because it will fit in a phone, in my tablet, and in my computer, is because if you lose it, you lose it all. And I'm like, oh, a little piece of plastic that I have to keep a hold of the rest of my life or get locked out of. Yeah, I'm not going to do that yet. So if they can manage it digitally and not, have to have a passkey, it sounds like a good idea. It's way more secure, but I am terrified of me physically losing this piece of plastic that I would need. So I haven't done it yet. But good point, Linda. All right, what are we going to talk about now? Let's talk. I'm sad that Medina's not here because I know she uses WhatsApp a lot. Do other people in the room use WhatsApp?
Definitely.
Okay, we're going to talk about WhatsApp then. So WhatsApp has, let me do my screen share. I'm going to share my window and see if maybe this will be simpler. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay. So with WhatsApp, there are, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
On WhatsApp. Okay. 2 new flaws that can expose you to files. So it gets into the, tracked as, call it what it is, and how it affects it, the rich responses that are embedded in Instagram Reels. I don't know if that matters, but the best thing to do is to update. So again, that's really the message for this, whether you use WhatsApp or not, because this translates to everything that you use. Make sure that the version that you're using of whatever app it is, it's the most updated. WhatsApp has, this is pretty simple. I'm pretty sure you all know this. Updating from Google Play Store. And there's exactly how to do it, how to update if you have an iPhone. And let's go back to, and then Windows, if you use WhatsApp on Windows. So it's very nice in terms of it just tells you exactly what you need to do and how to do automatic updates. But that's where I want to go to is automatic updates. Let's always make sure that we have automatic updates for everything. There is no reason not to. Everybody knows that, right? You've got it set on your phone, automatic updates all the time, because that's going to keep you with the safest and most secure. All right. Going into Facebook accounts. How many people use Facebook? Okay. Facebook, I have gotten, how many times has this happened? Almost once a week right now. I am getting an email from Facebook that says you have a, how does it go? You have a request from the business manager. You have a partnership request from the business manager. And I'm like, what? And this is with nonprofits that I work with. So, I'm on a board, and so I manage the Facebook page and I manage the email, and somehow they've connected and I'm getting this. So the first time I saw it, I opened up the email and I looked at it and I thought, I don't think so. I don't think so, but I didn't click anything, obviously. I went to Meta Business. So anyone familiar with Meta Business?
Lady
Okay.
Lang.
That I know.
From Facebook and Meta, Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
Meta?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Terry, who joined you?
No, phone like he's
Jerry
Jerry Vargo.
Jerry Vargo.
Hey,
Came
Jerry.
for yoga, and I told her to join us. So
Yay. Jerry Vargo. Nice to see you.
he's heading from Kansas, from Wichita.
Wichita. Going
Oh,
home-
nice.
Going
Nice.
home Saturday.
So if you do Facebook for a group, for instance, let's say Carlene's line dancing group. I'll pick on Carlene since she's in the room. And or any group that you have. Joy Center, your church group, whatever. You have a Facebook page, you have an email account. The best way to manage that Facebook page is with something called Meta Business. Meta Business takes everything that you do on that Facebook page and makes it much easier to manage, much easier to plan for, much easier to work with. So that's where I got confused about maybe something came through Meta for a business request to partner with, because we're always looking for folks who can help out with the animal shelter. So I went to Meta Business and there was no request for anything. There was no messages, nothing had come through. So I'm like, okay, I think it's fake. And then I got one the next week. Then I started talking to other people who have access to these pages and they were getting the same thing. It is fake, totally fake. So here's how this happens. And share. Thousands of Facebook accounts stolen by phishing emails sent through Google. So this is a cautionary tale. What was interesting, and it's happened a couple of different ways. One was that one I got where it said a partner request for another business. But another one is that people are getting emails from me through that email account that says, I'm asking for gift cards because I'm in a meeting. It's like, what? And so how in the world does that happen? This is the how it works. It says researchers have linked these emails to a Vietnamese linked operation that has compromised 30,000 Facebook accounts and is still active. 30,000 is not much. That's very, very small in the world of social media and emails and all of that. But it is coming through Google. And so it looks legitimate. The difference is where it's coming from. You always look at the sending address. Here's the sending address is that what some of these are coming through this way. Other ones that I have been supposedly sending out to folks are coming from various people's names. So it says my name at the top, but then when you look at where is it actually coming from, it's not coming from me. And you can tell that. And so here's the most important part, how to stay safe. Facebook does not send security checks, job offers, or anything else through Google. So if you are getting something from Facebook that claims that your account has been disabled, locked, punished, look at it. It's always about time. They always want you to act right away. They want you to feel like there is urgency to it. This says demands 24 hours. If you get a worrying message, go directly to Facebook and don't click on the message. If it asks for a password, two-factor authentication, all of that, of course, we don't want to do that. And be cautious with any unusual messages from Facebook accounts. That's kind of a given. But the most important thing, always, 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 go to the original yourself, right? So whatever it is that's trying to scam you, you go to the original. Any questions on that one? Has anyone gotten that one? Linda?
A little bit different, but I'm getting a request for friendship from a friend of mine who's passed away a few weeks ago. So, I mean, I know that's not legitimate, but I'm thinking I should let the family know that maybe they should take the account down. You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people keep the accounts up for years. I have a couple of friends whose accounts are still up. The families see it as a way to keep that person's memory, because on the anniversary of the death or on birthdays, things like that, people will post memoriams. But I think it's a bad idea keeping an account like that open, because it does set it up for kind of an unwatched territory for scammers to get into. And that, I think, would be a good idea to
Okay,
just kind of let them know this is happening. But good point. Thank you for bringing that one up. The next one is that we're going to talk about is talking about spotting charity scams. So this particular one is from Bank of America. And knowing what kind of scams, so there are lots of different kinds. Social media, donating to a cause, investment. This is a fantastic resource here of just all the different kinds that are happening right now. Employment scams, imposter, online investment. Let's see if there's particularly issues with package delivery. We've seen this one, so let's take a look at this one. And each of these is like, what do you do? Don't open unfamiliar links. We know this. That's kind of a simple one. Multi-step scams, ticket, real estate, travel. This is one that I've seen a lot more on. And these are just little snippets. Waiting in a hotel, getting your information through public or unsecured Wi-Fi networks. We've talked about this in the past, how, you know, you check into a hotel, they give you the password for the Wi-Fi in the hotel. Well, everybody has it, you know, or it might be, here's your specific one and it's your room number. You know, there's a pattern and lots of people are going to know it. So it is not safe. Use a Wi-Fi network you trust, such as your cellular. So if you are in a public location, then what you want to do is use your cell and turn off your Wi-Fi. Turning off your Wi-Fi cell is much more secure. And so you're actually going to go, and this really honestly would be with any kind of, come down. So I'm going to have to turn off blurring so you can see things. All right. So when we are looking, going to your quick settings, turning off your Wi-Fi, when I click on that, I'm just going to turn it off. Click the button there, and now I've got Wi-Fi is off. That forces it to do anything I'm going to do online through my cell. I don't have an Apple phone to show you that way. Does anyone not know how to turn off their Wi-Fi on their phones?
There was the second picture.
That
Linda.
is that the same as going to airplane mode?
No.
I
No.
don't know.
What does airplane mode mean?
Airplane mode shuts off cell. So when you're on a plane, you're not supposed to, well, historically, rules have changed. And it's been a while since I've been on a plane, but I wish they would bring that back because that's so annoying. But they would say put it in airplane mode, which means you can use Wi-Fi, but you can't use cell phone. The theory was on a plane that the cell phone signal could interrupt their instrumentation. There was a bit on some show, Mandy Pritikin. Is that how you say the actor's name? Yeah. He said, with the technology today, this little thing is going to ruin this big thing's signals. Not possible. And he kept going on with his phone call. But you turning on airplane mode is going to shut down cell. So this is the opposite of that. You want to make sure that cell is working and turn off Wi-Fi. Cell is much more complicated and much harder to get into by bad actors. Not impossible, of course, but much harder by the general person walking through an airport, walking around the hotel, because they can stand outside of your hotel room and use the same username and password and get into wherever it is that you're into. So we think, oh, okay, you know, I'm traveling, I'm in another state, I'm in a hotel room, I'm going to access my bank account now because I'm smarter than doing it in the lobby. I'm smarter than doing it in the airport, you know, while I'm waiting for the plane. I'm smarter than doing that, but it still is possible to be accessed by somebody standing outside your door. And that's another whole thing. But turning off the Wi-Fi and only using your cell, and that would require you to be in a good cell zone, right? You know, in the somewhere where there's poor cell service, but still has hotels and things, much more difficult to do. That's where I would use a VPN, virtual private network, so that my internet use is actually coming from somewhere else. So I'm hopping onto the internet through their Wi-Fi, but then I'm getting kind of behind a nice big concrete wall because I'm on a VPN that protects me from anybody just walking by. So I've gone on the internet, but they can't see anything else from there. They might be able to see that I've gotten onto a VPN, but they can't crack into the VPN because there's stronger protocols there. So when you're traveling, much smarter to do. Good question. Terry.
Been traveling and been spending long hours in the Atlanta airport. I realized so many people kind of break all their rules after like a 2-hour period, like 2 hours after you thought you were going to leave. I saw people line up at the electronics store to buy, well, I don't know, you know, a power, even if there were plugs there. I wish I'd taken pictures of it. It was like a social, like a study, you know, on patients. And after 3 hours, I mean, they were drinking power drinks.
That's funny. That's very funny.
Very funny because I thought about, and John said the same thing. He said, I'm just going to get, you know, something that he just was done not doing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a limit to our patience. Speaking of being in airports where there are power stations, you want to make sure that if you do need to charge up, that you are using your own charging cables. So if some places have these courtesy cables and you just plug your device into it and boom, you're charging. You always want to use your own cables, and you don't want to take your USB cable and plug it into their USB port. You want to take your little charging block, and I'm looking around to see, I don't have one right here right now. The The thing that has the prongs that go into an electrical outlet, you want to use that. And yes, thank you. Yes, because oh, that's a nice one because you've got choice on that. Flip that back around, Joyce.
Yeah,
Mm.
I just
Very
got that
cool.
morning.
That's nice. So it's got the USB-A and the USB-Cs so that regardless of what you have when you're traveling, you can charge 4 things all at once. Does it slow it down if you have multiple things using, or is it all the same?
No idea.
No idea. Okay. But that's very cool. So that's exactly what you want to do. You want to plug that into a wall outlet and never use those courtesy things where you're just going straight cable because they can steal your data from there. And it has been done. So
What about
You
on
want-
the actual plane, on the seat on the plane? To use that.
I would say same thing. Same
But they
thing.
don't usually have plugs.
No, they don't. So
They don't.
you
They
have to
just have those, yeah.
No, they did.
Yeah.
Well, we just went on a flight that did. I was very
Huh.
glad because I had needed it. I'd been
Was
in the
that-
airport so long.
And where was the plug, Terry? At your seat?
No, it was low. It was behind the seat in front, like there's 2 of them on the chairs, on the window, and
What
on the
airline?
chair.
What airline?
United.
United. Huh. Go United.
I didn't
That's
know
awesome.
that.
I have seen it somewhere in another plane as well, but it wasn't United. So, and there are going to be various places in the plane. So if you're on a super long flight, I guess that would come into play. The other thing, Terry, reach into your bag of tricks and pull out your block because I know you have a block. She
No,
always carries a block. Her
No.
purse is 5 pounds heavier because of all the charging blocks she carries around.
I actually
but-
don't have it.
You don't have it today?
I have a battery. I have a battery though. You know,
Amy got one. Yeah.
Oh.
So, absolutely. You want to carry one of those, those charging blocks that are going to have a lot of battery space. And the other thing is, you kind of plan ahead. You kind of just think about your battery use. If you're on a super long flight and you think that in that amount of time, maybe you should take a nap, get off your phone. You're changing time zones. You should absolutely be sleeping and not on your phone.
Betsy, you have to recap everything. This was so interesting about don't use their plugs. If you don't mind recapping that.
Sure. Yeah. So whenever you're in public, if you are taking your cord, just your cord, not the block that Joyce just held up, there are places where you can now those are in the wall. And
Right.
I have those at my house. When we rebuilt the house that we moved into, some of our outlets just have that because it's nice not having to have that little cube everywhere you go.
couches. Everyone has these couches. The friends of my son, everybody has them in their couches.
Where I'm staying here, the couch has it.
Yeah.
Scott just found it last night. He's like, "Did you know that you can charge in the couch?" I'm like, I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna go with the old-fashioned thing. So you want to have the block that Joyce held up. You want to use your cord in your block. So I always carry 2 blocks when I travel, for each different kind of cord that I have that goes with each different device that I have. Because some of them are older devices and still require the old kind of USB cords. So, or the USB-C or the USB-A, all of the different cords that you have. So you want to plug directly into a regular wall socket, not into a charging socket.
Wow.
The information and the data can be hacked from there. Just like when you go to the gas pump and there are gas pumps that have little inserts. It's a very thin metal wire that can be inserted into the credit card reader, and those can read your credit cards and steal literally have access to your credit card and then use your credit card. So when you go to pay at the pump, you make sure that there are no loose parts. Where those typically are installed, and now I'm getting off base, Amy, but
That's okay. It's good off base.
people are frowning, so I'm thinking, okay, we better go
Yeah.
there with this. It's always going to be on the side of the gas station pump island that cannot be easily seen by the staff. So the side of the pump that is facing the store, generally not going to happen. So those are generally safer. The one that is directly next to the door and has direct eyesight from the door and the staff, harder to get that in and get that out. People may notice. I don't know. I don't think they pay gas station employees enough to actually be paying attention to that, but let's just pretend that they're bored and looking out the window. You don't want to be caught fiddling with the pump. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. And I know stealing the credit card information is illegal. So the safest for putting your credit card into the gas pump credit card reader is going to be the one that's right next to the door. The one on the back side of that, no, because employees can't see you. The one that's facing the door, but one, island away. So let's just say that Buc-ee's, I don't know, if I were going to be in the business of stealing people's credit card information by doing it at gas pumps, I'd do it at a Buc-ee's because there's nobody seeing that stuff. Now, I'm going to guess that at a Buc-ee's, there's tons of cameras that are watching what's happening. Has everybody been to a Buc-ee's?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Andy, how many pumps are at a Buc-ee's? Like 50?
Maybe more.
Maybe more?
Ooh.
Like 100.
100. Yeah, it's an enormous gas station with an enormous
like-
shopping experience inside. Honestly, I'm just going to say it's kind of fun.
Okay,
The
75.
first time. The
Down at
seventh time,
75 at one.
75. Yeah. So
One of those. It's a nightmare.
yeah, and they're going to have cameras, but is the person who's on security really watching all of the cameras? I don't know.
No, probably sleeping.
Probably not. Go to Buc-ee's and go for the store, but don't get your gas there. But anyway, so
Don't
you
even
wanna
go anymore. It's too crowded.
It is. It's such a phenomenon. At the beginning, it was okay, but
They only have the cleanest bathrooms.
They do. So there was our big plug for Buc-ee's. If you've never been to a Buc-ee's, you should go once in your lifetime. It's kind of like if you've never been to Disney, you really ought to go once. Buc-ee's is the same thing.
Hanging up, framed pictures hanging up in the hallway to the bathrooms.
Okay.
Really
Goodbye.
nice artwork too. Okay.
Beautiful
Anyway.
pic-
So
Anyhow,
be
back
careful
to-
at gas station pumps. You want to make sure that before you put your credit card in, that you couldn't take your finger and pull out a little piece of metal that is a reader that's been inserted into there to read your credit card.
Or just tap.
Yeah. Plugs at any public place, use your own block, use your own charging cord. Hotels, if you've got to get on and do any kind of business stuff, you really need to sign up for a VPN and do it that way. Best yet, do everything at home before you leave. Now, if you're going to be gone for months at a time, presumably you're going to be in a place like I am. This is a month-long rental. So it's not a hotel. It's in a neighborhood. People aren't just wandering by. So it's going to be much safer. I'm not worried about my internet security here because I'm on their network. But if I do banking stuff, yeah, I'm going to go on my VPN and do banking stuff from there, from my VPN instead of just straight on their internet highway. All right. We did not get to all of the terrible things that are happening these days in tech savvy world. I'm going to send you the links so you can kind of pick and choose at them. It is almost time for me to get up now.
Next week, we talk about how to get on a VPN, right?
We can.
Yeah.
Let's talk about VPNs next week. Anything
good
else
class.
we want to talk about?
This was a great class. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've had some old-fashioned kind of scams, like by mail, like crazy things, like they just we were away a couple of weeks and we got all our mail, you know, you look at it together and one from that Bank America that I showed you years ago that looked just like Bank America, but it was a printed piece of paper, which I think that's too much evidence. Why would they use it? But
Linda?
yeah,
Sorry.
no.
Linda, you had your hand up? No. Okay. You were waving goodbye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody have a
Thank
great
you.
week.